Hey everybody, welcome back. Episode, what is this? Episode
13.
13. 13? 14. 13.
Whatever the number is, they'll see it on the screen.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
We're a little bit not confused, but we're like this because we were just having like a really intense conversation that got us in a different place. Than remembering what number we on.
Oh man, it's
And
beautiful.
yeah, we want to. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the title of today's episode is For Your Own Sanity. And sometimes what's understood doesn't need to be explained or said. So I'm sure the people out there in the time frame that we're in right now understands it. Um, I was telling myself earlier, Abad, you always come first, and to not think so is uncivilized. And what I mean by that is when we wake up in the morning, we wake up in our own physical body. So if we're always constantly trying to look after other people before looking after ourselves first, that causes a lot of self-destruction. You basically teach people how to treat you, which if you're not looking out for you first, then they're not looking out for you when they're with you, which leads to today's topic. So it's just extremely paramount to block out the noise when people want to call you selfish and you know for a fact you're not selfish, or when you're having that conversation in your head, like, okay, maybe I should do this, but you know you're overcompensating your own sanity and your morals and your values for you and the respect you have for yourself because you're thinking about others before you think about you. And that can cause you to lose your own sanity. And I'm not trying to sound philosophical or esoteric. This is just real life stuff. We teach people how to treat us all day long.
Yep.
And if you want to keep your sanity, it literally starts with you first.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And it's like, well, my question before I even say anything, like before I even say anything, I'll have a question. So, what would you say is the result of what's the result of you taking care of yourself first? And then after you answer that question, what is the result of taking care of others before you take care of yourself? Like what happens? What happens? What are the things that happens to you when you take care of yourself first?
When you take care of yourself first, you start to have automatic peace from within. So I can use myself as an example. I feel and know that I'm a very good person. And I know this from how people interact with me when they're first meeting me. There's just an automatic, I don't know what it is about him, but I feel really good. And then that continues when you meet them again.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're not looking out for you, there's a void you start to feel when you're getting the bitter end of the stick, and then that stays with you. So it's almost like you're carrying a double burden, but you caused it. So now you're not living life to your fullest. Like things that's supposed to be attracted to you, you're not getting it quick enough. Opportunities take longer. And sometimes opportunities take longer because that's what it is. But if they're taking longer almost always, then there's a hole in the bucket, and that hole is us because we're constantly looking after other people. So we just feel parts of us start to feel bitter, and then we question ourselves. But when you're looking out for you first, as you should, Like you just have inner peace. Life is more fluid. Opportunities come faster.
Yep.
It's like you can't you, you you can't be negative and positive at the same time. That's impossible.
Yeah.
But if you're doing your best to be in a positive vibration and frequency, perfect example. Earlier, my mom said she was trying to contact someone and she was worried about the fact that she wasn't reaching this person because she had a matter that she was trying to resolve. And I immediately told her, look, mom, don't worry. Like, you're going to reach this person. And then when you do reach this person, which will most likely be today, you'll get the task that you need done. Just watch.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, 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 you're right, son. Because if I focus on not reaching him, then that may not let me reach the individual. I just spoke to her right before we started this, and she was like, oh, yeah, I got that done. Like, I made the call, and miraculously, I just got him. Oh, I wonder why. Like, you changed your vibration and your frequency. And then some people may say, not that people are saying this, vibration, frequency, what's that? We all know what it means. It's just focus on the positive.
Right. Because see, we could talk about it like in a spooky way, right? Like, oh, frequency, vibe, you bringing things to you with your brain thoughts, and I'm not mocking anybody. I'm not even mocking, because
Right.
I'm not mocking the
Absolutely.
concept, right? But let's make it real. Let's make it
Mhm.
not so mystical. When you focus on good, you will see the good. That's just how it works. When you focus on negativity, you will see nothing but negativity, right? It's simple. It's like, let's say you go ahead, you go to a car dealership and you buy a Lexus, right?
I was just in the car dealership, bro.
Right? You go to dealership and you buy a Lexus ES. You will see a bunch of ESs and you're like, I've never seen so many in my life. It's because you're now focused on you have one, so you focus on it every single day. So now you're gonna see a bunch of them everywhere. A bunch of them. When I bought my car, I've seen so many of them now. I'm like, yo, my car is the most populated car on the street. Am I playing Grand Theft Auto where the car you get is the car you see everywhere? This is crazy. But that's how it is, because it's not that you're attracting these cars to you per se, but it's that now your brain, the way what you're paying attention to is what you're gonna see, is what you're gonna encounter. So it's the same thing with the positives and negatives in your life. If you focus on the positives, that's what you will see. If you focus
Right.
on the negatives, that's what you're gonna see. And then it's gonna be like a snowball effect. You focus on the negative, you see more negative. So you focus on more negative, you see more negative, and then now the person is in depression and all kind of bleak thinking, and then it just spirals out of control. So, it's not, we're not talking it from a, well, only from a mystical perspective, but we're talking about from a real physical, the way the brain functions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You buy like, hey, you got that hoodie zipper. I'm pretty sure you're gonna probably see it other places now. You're gonna go, man, I ain't never even seen it. Well, what the really? That's just how it works, right? Unless the joint is like something rare, but you're still gonna see it more than if you never got it before. Because you never had it, you never paid attention. So it may have come into your view. You didn't even look at it. He's like,
Right.
whoop, missed it, and you saw it. Just like the car you bought. You probably seen it a billion times, just never focused on it. So you didn't realize what you were looking at until you bought the car. So we're talking about practicing and implementing things that is mystical, but it's also a real physical, real life reasons and applications that work. But the one thing I also wanted to ask, I guess be more specific, is what's the result, right? Like, okay, when you're focusing on people, trying to help them, and they come to you for help, and you're giving help, and you're exhausting yourself, right? What happens when you have no more to give?
you burn out, or I believe you shared it with me. I'm almost certain you did, because all of our conversations are so good. It's like sometimes, sincerely speaking, I wish I was taking notes. It's like, this is some good stuff. That's why we started this now. But we only have, we only get how many Christmases do you really think you get? We only have we only have a certain amount of energy that can be used. And once it's all used, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. So it's best for us when we're here and we have that energy that we use it wisely, or else we burn out. And then when we burn out, it, life is all about momentum. It takes a lot for momentum to start. So once it stops, it's going to take you some time to build it back up again in all areas of your life. Whether this sounds like it makes sense or not, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Some people are very gifted; they can take a test 100. Others, you got to build the momentum, study
Mm-hmm.
just to get an 80.
Yeah. So once you burn out, that momentum stops, and then they have to rev it up again. And that's actually in with everything, right? Momentum, the beginning of motion is the most energy
Yes,
that one
indeed.
expends at that one particular point, right? That's why, like, you start your car, you warm your car up, because then everything has to start to gain that momentum, that energy, the warmth. All warmth is just energy movement, little
Right.
vibrations that cause heat, and then now it's warm. So it's that initial crank is the most expenditure you're gonna, then once momentum starts, every other movement takes less energy than the initial movement. And so if you stop again because of burnout, you gotta, like, it's like waking up in the morning, right? Like, once you up and you move and you in that shower, you're
Mhm.
rejuvenated,
Mhm.
but go back in that bed, take that shower, and lay down in that bed for 15 more minutes. it's back
You
to
gotta
it's back to that same hard crank again, right? And so burnout, as a result of giving too much of yourself, will cause you to have to restart, right?
wow.
And that takes a lot. And sometimes some people don't come back from that. Like, some
Mm.
people don't come back from the restart. Like, they don't ever get back to where they was based on them stopping here. Like, they stop here, they fall back, and then they never get back to what it was. And that happens with athletes and everything, right? How many people have so much potential as an athlete? They get injured. The injury heals 100%, but because they lost that momentum, they're unable to get back to where they used to be. Musicians, right? They were had so much potential. They decided to take 2, 3 years off. But by that time, the scenery has changed. And so they lost the momentum that they could have been sustaining while for those 2 to 3 years. It's the same thing with life.
Mm.
So the magical thing, though, about taking care of yourself, and me and you, A, had this conversation, and you were the one, I believe, that said this. You take care of yourself, it gives you the energy to take care of others, right? So if you take care of yourself and you focus on yourself, it sustains you with the things you're going to need to take care of others. So if you're able to keep the momentum, build wealth, then you can take care of your family,
Mm.
right? If you can take care of your mental health and make sure your mind is clear and you're not going through any major depression, then you can console those who may need consolement, right? If you take care of yourself physically versus burning yourself out here and there, then you can help somebody who may need you to pick them up or help them move or whatever, right? So all we're saying is it's time to focus on yourself. And it's not selfish, right? Because selfish means to be consumed about oneself. and don't care about others, right? But if you care about yourself, you can care about others. That's what we're talking about. Caring about yourself gives you the ability to care for others even better. But if you give, and I think it's kind of been the concept for the past couple of videos, it's
Right.
just protecting yourself. Because what happened is people will use you until you're done. People will use you until you cannot be used anymore. And that's at work, that's in relationships, and that's there's only a few people these days now that will be like, you know what, you know what, you do what you gotta do, take care of yourself, versus they're gonna keep taking from you. And when you find somebody like that, you better hold on to them. Hold on to them. But for the most part, it's your responsibility, though. It's your
Mm.
responsibility to take care of yourself. It's your responsibility to know when to say, you know what, it's time for me to step back, rejuvenate, heal, decompress in order for me to be healthy. Because if you're like, hey, you said this, if you ain't healthy, who's going to take care of responsibilities?
Wow.
Right? If you're not healthy enough, whether it's mentally or physically, then who's going to take care of that? Who's going to take care of you? If you're not, and that's that, I'm talking about for all of us, right? Like if we're not healthy, if we're not doing well, who's going to take care of us? So that's why we got to take care of ourselves to ensure the longevity of our overall health so that we can take care of ourselves and then we can take care of others.
And don't let people, when you choose to distance yourself from the people that you need to distance yourself from, don't let people make you feel like you shouldn't do that. Because those people are the ones who are the most selfish. Because what they realize at that point, when you realize enough is enough with them, they'll go, oh, you've changed. Oh, I've changed because you can see that I respect myself and I'm not giving you the energy that you wasn't giving me. So now I've changed. Don't listen to those people because they will find ways to make you feel like shit. Excuse my language, but sometimes a word has to be said the way it's meant to be said. If you make a decision that's best for you, stick to it and move on that.
Yep. Yep. Because yeah, you're right. People will try to, some people will try to make you feel like you're a bad guy for it, right? But then on the flip side, those same people, if they feel like cutting you off, they will.
Fast.
You know what I mean? They will, and they won't feel no kind of way. They'll be like, okay, boom. Like I had a friend, right? We had a difference of opinion, and I didn't even, and we just were having a conversation, and my opinion, I stated my opinion, and then he stated his opinion, which was contrary to my opinion. So I stated my argument, while my opinion I feel is more valid, and he stated his rebuttal as to why he thinks that his statement or belief is more important, is more valid. And we came to a, well, I'm gonna keep my opinion and you keep yours. And I left it at that. And it was no animosity, no feelings, nothing. It was just like moved on to living life, being friends. And then one day he calls me up. I think I was supposed to see. I think he was supposed to link up a day that like in a day or two. And he calls me up a day or two before he's supposed to link up, and he goes, "Hey Lou," and he sounded somber. So I'm like, "Hey, what's going on? What's up?" He's like, "Yeah, man. Uh, uh and at that time, I was teaching him some jujitsu, right, and some light stuff, like nothing super serious, right." And he's like, "Yo, Lou, I don't think I'm gonna be coming to train with you no more." And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'm thinking maybe his schedule is too busy or whatever. And he goes, yeah, nah, well, I think, I'm not even gonna be coming over and we ain't gonna be chilling no more. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, what's going on? He's like, well, that conversation we had the other day, I don't really agree with what you were saying. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, so yeah, I can't really hang out with you no more. And I'm like, oh, oh, okay, okay. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. And what's so interesting and so strange at the same time is that he was having some difficulties with his significant other at that time. And I'm not gonna get no details, but I helped mend it, right? I helped bring them back together into a place where, it was like a rebuilding of the relationship, a rejuvenation, a healing of the relationship. And so I would have thought that worth more than the disagreement, like that worth more than, and it wasn't a disagreement. It was like a difference of opinion on a topic that was going on in the world at that time. Right. So I would have thought that this part of our friendship that helped heal your relationship was more important than a very to me insignificant disagreement of opinion between two friends. And I guess for him it wasn't, right? So, but he felt no qualms, no real big qualms, you know what I mean, to let the friendship go. And so I was like, okay, all right, man. Nothing I could say about that. And then that was the end of it. Never spoke to him again, never saw him again. Right. And it's somebody that I've known for a significant amount of time. It wasn't like a 2, 5, 6 year relationship. It was a multiple, many year friendship. And so, I let it go. But I say that little story to show you how some people can let you go and you did really nothing wrong. But on the flip
That's why
side,
it's
they
so
could be
grievous.
abusing you. On the flip side, they could be abusing you, taking advantage of you, draining you of your resources. And then you say, hey, I need to take a little time away. And then they make you feel horrible for it.
Basically what I was just.
Yeah. You know? So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad at all. Especially when you're stepping away from something that is um taking a toll on your psyche, taking a toll on your physical health, on your mental health. Don't feel no kind of way, except for happy, except for relieved, you know. And so that's my take on it. Um, you know, this is something that we felt like we needed to share. And I think this is kind of a reoccurring theme for the past few videos. This concept of like self-care, um, boundary setting, doing what you got to do for yourself not in a selfish way, but in a self-healing way. Because at the end of the day, who's going to take care of you? If you can't, who going to pay your bills? Right? Who going to pay your car bill, your car note, your mortgage or your rent, right? Your food expenses, your clothing expenses, right? Your recreational, who's going to pay that for you? Who's going to do all that for you if you can't do it for yourself? Not many people can say they have somebody that they got that's going to do that for them. And so if that's the case, then you have to do what you got to do to make sure you're okay. Right? And sometimes that means stepping away from people. Because if you're okay, then you can actually take care of those people.
Right.
But if
Right.
you are burnt up, burnt out, you can't do it for nobody, including yourself. Me, A had this conversation, this little statement the other day. Even on an airplane, when the masks come down, if those masks come down, they tell you what? Put your mask on first before you put anybody else's on. Why? Because you focus on somebody else's mask and you freaking die. You dead. But if you save your life, you can save other lives. You know. Anything else you want to add, A?
Just don't let anyone allow you to overcompensate your values for yourself for theirs. Because people will easily allow you to do that. Easily. And manipulators are exceptional at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I thought that you said, oh, I know what I said. Do you understand? You telling me, oh, I thought what you said is BS. Like, you're not going to get me with that. Just because I have a high level of respect for myself, you're going to, well, we're not going to do that. Basically, like what Lewis said, like how we conversed about earlier, him and I, off camera, if you take care of yourself, you leave others to not worry about you. But when you don't take care of yourself, it just causes a ripple effect of unnecessary worry that didn't have to happen. Now you
Mm-hmm.
have 15 human beings worried about you because you choose not to take care of you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of human beings for one person.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
that's
that's
in
what,
many aspects too. And when I show my health, or like if you're not taking care of you by doing things that are responsible, doing a responsible thing, right? And I'm gonna give you an example. Depending on where you live, right? We know certain people that cause problems, right? One of these negative people causing problems wherever they go, and they cause problems in something, and a problem finds them eventually, and then now their grandma, their mom, their cousins, their aunties and uncles are crying, "Oh, why, Lord, Lord, why?" We know why. We know why. Because you didn't take care of yourself. You wanted to go out there and cause problems and do things in a certain way. And now the cries for Lord, well, Lord, why? You got your grandma and your mom and aunties and uncles and dad and everybody out there crying, asking, looking up to the sky when that could have been prevented. Now, yes, one day we all will go meet the creator. And hopefully there's people that will mourn us, right? But we're trying to make that not premature and not because of foolishness, right? So that's just one way of preventing people from worrying about you and, you know, working them up because of your bad decisions. So, all we're saying is, listen, all we really saying is take care of yourself. You know what to do. You know in what area. And it's a work in progress, right? It's kind of like some of us is a constant work in progress. Some of us won't get it this year, right? Because we got another 6-7 days in the year. You ain't gonna get it in 7 days. But some of us ain't gonna get it in 2023 all the way. But you can start. You can start, right? Start eating a little bit better, start exercising a little bit more, start investing in start investing in the stock market, um, picking solid companies that ain't going nowhere for the next 10 to 20 years, right? Start thinking differently, right? Start thinking positively, optimistically, right? Hug your kids a little bit more, hug your parents a little bit more, call your parent and check on them. You know what I mean? Start implement,
appreciate that a little bit more.
yeah, implement some of these things that will help enhance your life. Those things help make you feel better, to be honest. You
Mm.
know, so that's my take on it. That's my little input. Hopefully, you guys like what we both had to say. Um, please comment, uh, questions, comments. We're looking forward to them. We'll respond to them. I hope this helps. Anything else, A, before we sign off?
Perfect sign off, my brother.
All right.
Perfect.
You heard it, right? Good sign off. So we'll see you guys. See us soon on the 14th or 15th. I'm just joking, but you'll see us soon. And thanks you for watching, and we appreciate y'all. Peace.